I go around and I go around and I go around, I go around. I'm always out, I am always out, I am always out, I'm always out. I keep running so I don't have to go.
Hello. So today I was actually planning to do this video for like a long time, like a long time. And I was like, I don't want to do it before I have the chance to really think about what I want to say. Because if you don't know this, my birthday was December 5th. So it was a while ago, but I was like, I really want to like sit down, think, and bring you guys like the best pieces of like life lessons or advice, or just things that I've learned, things that I find value in, to share them with you guys, right? Because I feel like even though you might be older than me, you might be younger than me, you might be the same age as me, I feel like we all have a different, I guess, like progression in life. You'll have a different path, and we all learn things at different points in our life. And these are a few of the things that I learned within the past 25 years. Most of them I pretty much like learned these past like 5 years, because I did do a video like this when I turned 20. Please don't go try to find it because it was like a while back. It's probably not that good. Like, I'm sure I give like great advice. Yeah, let's like forget that exists. But I figured, you know what, I did it at 20, which was like a pretty big age. I'll do it at 25 and then at 30, and then like we'll see if I'm still around by then, like around on on like YouTube by then, I will see if I do it again. But yeah, I figured that this could be something super fun to do, so we can like share our experience. And if there's anything that you guys learn throughout the however many years of your life, definitely don't hesitate to leave it down below, so we can all, you know, share these little nuggets, that's the word, nuggets of wisdom. Before we get into all that, if you're new here, my name's Mila. I make everything from post-grad, lifestyle, and bookish type content. We also delve into a little bit of like pop culture, so we talk about songs, we talk about movies, and I do wanna maybe not like commentary, but just getting into talking about more, I guess, like, I wouldn't say kind of like pop culture, but just like things that are going on in like life. I'm sorry, I'm seeing this like little piece of hair in my viewfinder, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like really bothering me. So if you see me constantly touching this side, it's because I'm like, what are you doing? So let's ignore that. I have a few ideas. I don't know how I'm gonna like go about it, but if that sounds fun, definitely hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time that I post. We are pumping out videos constantly. I'm going like all out until I find my like big girl job. And I guess let's just go right into it. I made myself a little matcha today to like help me get through these like 25 years of like trauma that I went through, where I learned all these things. But no, honestly, I've had like an amazing life, and I'm so grateful for everything that happened to me, everything that I experienced, and all that. And if it wasn't for all the ups and downs, the hardships, the luck that I had, I wouldn't be able to come to you guys today bringing you, I'm sorry, this hair is like, you know what, I'm gonna stop touching it. Even if I see it in my viewfinder, I'm gonna ignore it. But yeah, if it wasn't for everything that I went through, whether good or bad, I wouldn't be able to sit here today and just like teach you the life lessons that I learned. So that's my little like spiel intro, and let's hop like right into it. So I have my iPad over here where I have like everything written down. I decided to place things into 4 categories, and I will be linking the timestamps down below if you want to go check out one particular category. So the first group of little life hacks we're going to talk about is identity and mindset. Then we're going to move on to life and perspective, career and purpose, and then finally relationships and dating. Once again, we're going to have timestamps so you guys can, you know, go dabble where you want to go. But I would recommend to listen to everything because some things are connected, you know? And let's go right into it. The first little piece of advice that we have is that your thoughts aren't always facts. The same way that if you tell yourself something constantly, that's going to become your reality, not because some sense of like manifestation and you brought this into your life, but because you are convincing yourself of something. So just because your brain tells you something doesn't mean that that's what's in front of you. Like, if you tell yourself, I am super shy, I'm super awkward, people are gonna like not gonna want to talk to me and stuff like that, you will create that. But that's not who you are. That is not the person who you are showing today. So your thoughts are not facts, because if you catch yourself, you're like, oh wait, this is a toxic thought, let's push it aside, it's not gonna become who you are. It's not like you're not gonna start identifying with it, because you're like, okay, no, that's unrealistic, that's a toxic thought, this is who I actually am, this is like, these are proof that I'm actually this way, these are actual characteristics, this is just like one nasty little thought, and we push it away. So we're not letting that, you know, infect the healthy part of our brain. So just know that just because you have a thought, just because you believe something, doesn't mean that it is a fact. You can cloud your reality with these toxic thoughts. And I know that me saying this is kind of like, okay, so you actually, like, your thoughts actually become facts. No, it's not a fact in the sense that you can change it. It's not like a fact, whereas this is it, like, it cannot be changed. Your thoughts can be changed, your reality can be changed, and not in some like manifestation way, just because you will identify with that. Literally anything you set your mind to, you will achieve, whether for good or for bad, you will achieve it. So just be aware of that. Number 2, comparison steals your joy. Trust me, I've compared myself to others for so long, my entire life. Everyone does that. But the only time that I started doubting myself, I started seeing myself as lesser than, being like, okay, you're not actually that good, you're not actually that smart, you're not actually that pretty, is when I start comparing myself to other people. And I feel like I reached this point where I'm like, I do not care about other people, not in a way that I'm like super selfish, I'm like screw everyone else, but it's like, no, it's like, I don't care what you think about me, because I know who I am. I know who I am. The people who are important to me know who I am. I don't have to compare myself to you, because I've had people tell me like, you seem so like this, and it's like, I wish I could be like that. And it's like, this is just like one part of me. I'm not like this 24/7. And it's like, you're comparing yourself to my highlight reel. That's not my everyday. That's not me, like even half of the week, you know? When you start seeing it like that, being like, okay, other people compare themselves to my highlights, you will realize that like, okay, you know, I wouldn't want them to feel badly about themselves because they're comparing themselves, like their lowest points to my highest points. That identical way, you're gonna be like, I'm just gonna stop comparing myself to them, because this might be their highest point and it makes absolutely no sense. And truly, who cares? Like, I know who I am, I know my worth, I know my value, I know my life is great, my friends know that, my family knows that, everyone who matters knows that. It does not matter what anyone thinks. It does not matter what's going on in anyone else's life. I love my life, and that's it. Number 3, changing your mind is a sign of growth. And I feel like we are taught to learn that like, oh my god, changing your mind is like, you were not like super set on your like goals, values, whatever. But it's like, no, you know, changing your mind, it's like, I was like super set on this, I got some new information, I reconsidered, I talked to someone else, I got this like whole other point of view, that I changed my mind. Not because, I don't know, it's like my values were weak, my morals were weak, or it's like I'm super easily like manipulated by other people. No, it's because I got some more information, I really thought about it, and I changed my mind. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. And yes, sometimes it can hurt someone else, and that's an unfortunate like consequence of that, but you're allowed to change your mind. It does not mean that you're going back in time, that you're regressing, that you're letting yourself be manipulated by someone. It's really evaluating things and being like, you know what, this one thing that I identified before, like 2 years ago, 5 years ago, like even a month ago, that's not me, and that's okay, and that's good, that's healthy, and that's normal. Number 4, small habits compound to big change. I know we're so sick of hearing this, but it's so true. This tiny little thing that you do every single day, you're not gonna see the effect that it will have maybe for a month, 5 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. You're not gonna see it, but just know that every single habit has this huge impact on you, whether it be good or bad. So be very conscious on these like little habits that you are letting yourself do, because these little like toxic things that you do, like saying, okay, you know what, I'm not feeling great today, it's okay if I talk badly about myself, but over time that will compound into something massive, and you can give yourself social anxiety, you can make yourself feel lesser than, you can self-sabotage your relationships without even knowing what it stems from. So be very careful, because everything that you do, every single habit, has the potential to compound and become this like drastic thing, once again, whether good or bad. So just be conscious. And I'm not saying that you have to be like super harsh on yourself, and you're not allowed to have days when you feel shit about yourself and you say shitty things, or you're like, oh, okay, you know, like I'm not feeling it, I'm not gonna go to the gym today, I'm gonna do this like not healthy thing. Once in a while, obviously it's fine, but once it becomes a habit, that is when it can have good or bad consequences. Number 5, being alone is a skill. This is a conversation topic I've had with so many people in 2025, and I feel like all of us, we're getting to this point now of our life in our like early to mid 20s, when we're like, being alone, there's so much value in being alone, and it's a skill, because you're like truly understanding what you value, who you are, what's important in your life, what are your goals, what are your aspirations, and stuff like that. And I feel like we are so clouded by this idea that we always have to be with people, we always have to be doing things, even if you're an extrovert, because I'm very extroverted. I love people, I love seeing people, I need to see people, but there's so much value in being by yourself, because you learn so much, you understand yourself, you can make better decisions, you actually take care of yourself. yourself, just being able to entertain yourself by yourself, that's a huge thing that I feel like so many people have trouble doing. And I'm not saying just like sitting down watching a movie. It's like, no, creating hobbies, reading, like finding things that bring you joy. So when you're having a bad day, you know what are these like good vices that will actually help you. All of that you will only learn when you're being like, when you're alone. And I know it's a scary thing. I know it's a tough thing. I feel like no one gets to that point where they learn like the powerfulness of being alone unless there's this like, I don't want to say a traumatic thing, but like something happens that kind of like pushes them to be that way. Because like that's how it was for me, and I feel like that's how it was for like many people who I had this conversation with. But I feel like despite getting to this conclusion with not the best circumstances pushing us there, we all learned that it truly is a skill, and it's something that I'm so grateful for, that I'm very comfortable with being alone. My most motivated times, the times that I'm the most creative, the times that like, I don't want to say my most happiest times are alone, but I'm truly at a point where I can find happiness in being alone, and that's such a beautiful thing. And that is a skill that up until maybe like a few months ago I did not have, and only now do I realize the value of being alone and the importance of it. And oh my god, it's a skill that I wish I'd cultivated earlier on in life, because just wow, like if you leave this video learning one thing from this category, it's that being alone is a skill, and you have to cultivate this skill. You have to master the skill, because it will actually change your life. And the last thing in this little category, number 6, is that fear and intuition feel very, very similar. You have to be able to figure out which is which. And it's not easy. It's very hard. And I feel like always, you know, hindsight 2020, when it's like you look back and it's like, I thought that this was like fear. I thought this was like a good fear, but it was like intuition. It was me knowing this is either a good thing or a bad thing. Am I at a point in my life where I can clearly see what is intuition, what is fear? No, I know I'm not there yet, but I feel like how do I say this? Like deep down, you know, even if you don't want to convince yourself, you know, but it's like getting to the point where you can convince yourself and you can see it for what it is in the moment, instead of being like, am I self-sabotaging? Am I having doubts? Am I just like nervous that I'm like not sure what is like which is which? I feel like you always deep down know, and I'm pretty sure you can get to a point where you can tell which one is which. These two are very, very similar, and I feel like once you learn that these two feelings are like feel exactly the same, you can better start to understand like the little differences. You can tell, your body can tell. You just have to learn your body's cues. Once again, I'm not at a point in my life where I can like confidently say, okay, this is fear, this is intuition, but I'm getting there, you know? And once again, this is something super important that I only learned this year, that I only picked up on, and I was like, your body always knows. You just have to start to learn to read your body. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there eventually. Now moving on to life and perspective. So what number are we at? Number 7, healing isn't linear. And this is something that I feel like we're all told, like it's not a linear process. Sometimes like some days are going to be easier, some days are going to be harder. And it's true, you never know when you're going to have that feeling of like sadness, of like desperation, of just like everything sucks. Like I miss this, I wish it was like this. You never know when it's going to hit, but time heals, you know, time heals. And just because you're doing great for a week doesn't mean that it's not going to hit you. But I feel like this point, like there's nothing, I guess, like positive that you can learn from this. It's just like, be aware that healing is not linear, and just because you were doing so good for a month, you see something or you experience something and it's like, oh, it reminds me of this. It doesn't mean that you're going back on your healing journey. It does not mean that you're any less like better off where you are now than you were like yesterday when everything was fine. It just means that healing isn't linear, and it's one of those like hard truths that we do have to learn. Again, it doesn't mean that like you're going back or that you're not doing it properly, because also, what is a proper way of healing? There's no proper way of healing. It really just takes time. Remember that, you know, remember that healing isn't linear. One day can be great, one day cannot, but time truly does heal. And once you really like understand that, you're going to be less harsh on yourself, because I was exactly the same until I realized that. And it's like, you know what, today is a bad day, but that's fine. Like that doesn't erase all the healing that I did. That doesn't erase these past 2 weeks when I was feeling amazing, life was great. It's just a bad day, and tomorrow it's going to be fine, or it's not going to be fine, and the day after it's going to be fine, and that's okay. Number 8, travel whenever you can, even small. I cannot begin to explain to you guys how much you learn when you travel. Like, even it doesn't have to be like super far. It can just be like, you know, going like one town over, doing a day trip. You learn so much, because like something is going to happen, something bad is going to happen, and you are training yourself to solve problems when something actually happens. When it's like higher stakes, a bigger deal, when you're further away from home, you don't have your support system or anything, you're going to be programmed to be like, okay, don't freak out, we're gonna like fix things. So on one hand, that is a great thing about traveling. On another hand, you learn about yourself, even if it's like something small. You will, I don't know, pass by a store, pass by something, go somewhere, and this would connect you to this other thought, to this other thought. Even if it's one town over, you just see life a different way. Like there's no other way that I can say it, then you just see life a different way. And you're probably thinking, okay, Mila, like if you go from like Montreal to Toronto, like what's that gonna change? It changes a lot. It changes a lot, because also I'm like, that's a lifestyle I could not have. Just being there for like maybe 2 days or even 1 day can be like, this is fun, but this is not me. This is not my lifestyle. And I wouldn't have even known that if I never traveled. And small towns, it's like, you know, you pass by a store and it's like you see something and this opens this whole side of your mind that it's like, you know, I want to get into this hobby. I want to get into this passion. This reminded me of this thing from when I was a kid, and now I want to like pursue this again. And this wouldn't have happened if you didn't travel. And also like on top of that, like learning about cultures and stuff like that, obviously for like bigger trips, whenever you can travel, because you learn so much about yourself, about other people, and also about your values. This kind of goes along with that, but number 9 is that money comes back, time doesn't. I know like every like toxic space online is like, oh, travel when you're young, you can get money later, like your time is never going to come back. And like it is true. Like I don't like how some people say it when it's like, oh, you know, spend all of your money. Like obviously be smart about it. Money is going to come back. Your time isn't going to, like, it's not going to come back. Like don't go into debt pursuing like fun things and experiences, and be smart about it. You know, like don't go into debt because you want to go out drinking. Like no, like I'm sorry, that is dumb. But if you are maybe not in the best financial situation and you're like, I want to travel, be smart about it, because like when you're young, it's the best time to travel. If you are more active, you want to do like more things, and who knows what's going to come in the future, who knows what's going to happen, if you're even going to have a future or not. You never know how much time you're going to have, how the circumstances are going to be in the future. That if you're being smart about it, I can personally justify to myself being like, okay, you know, I might not be in the best financial situation, but I'll be fine taking a trip or doing this one thing, like having this experience, because I'm never gonna have this time again. I'm never gonna be at this point in my life again in this country. And once again, if you're being smart about it, then I say go for it. Don't waste your money on something stupid. But if it's like a concert for an artist that you loved since you were like for years and years and years, I say go for it, because it's something that you're never gonna forget. But let's say it's like some artist who blew up like last year and you like them, like no, you know, you're gonna value it in the moment, but in 2 years you're gonna completely forget about it, versus an artist that you like look back and it's like, oh my god, I went to their concert at this point, it was like the best thing in my life. So if you're smart about it, you can kind of like, I don't want to say go into debt, but you can kind of like not think about money for now for this experience, because we might not have the time later on in the future. Number 10, this one is kind of like sad to realize, but you're not gonna recognize the good, like your best moments, the good times, until the memories. And coming to terms with that, I'm like, it's kind of scary, because you're like, okay, you know, like you don't know that this is like a peak of your life or a peak of the year or a peak of the month. You don't know that. But I feel like there's so much beauty in that, because you're like, I can live every day as if it's this like miraculous thing. This is going to be the high of my life. And when you go into every day coming from that mentality and not being like, okay, you know, I dropped my coffee this morning, this day is going to be like the worst day ever and nothing's going to work out. Like, no, if you're like, okay, you know, what if this day were the highlight of my year? How would I want to live it? And just living it with that mentality, you live a much happier life. Because once again, you do not know what's going to happen. You don't know that this might be the best day of your life, or like at least the best day of the year or of the month, that if you let little things affect you, you will miss out on what could have been an amazing day. And yeah, you can see this like in kind of a like, oh my god, this is like weird, like I wouldn't say sad way, but just like a whole like, oh my god, like I lived the best of my life, I'm never gonna get like a better day than this again. Like no, you can just go into every day being like, if this were the best day of my life, what would I want to do? How would I want to remember this day? Like who do I want to be? And going with that mentality, and like not that you're never gonna have a bad day again, but you're gonna have much better days. And who knows, like maybe you might have thought that this day was the best of your life, but you don't know what's coming in the future. And with this mentality, you'll have like much more like perfect days. Number 11, document your life. Like don't obnoxiously be like living through your phone, but take pictures, take videos, like make memories and document them. Like I'm not saying to be on your phone 24/7, like no, that's kind of like sad. And I think I talked about it when I was like talking about why I didn't vlog the trip that I took, because I was like, I don't want to be like experiencing this trip through my phone, but I still took so many pictures. And looking back, I'm like, I can remember how I felt in these moments, not because I saw my face documented in a video, but because like I lived it in real life and I took a picture, and that picture brings me back. But I wasn't like living in the moment to be like, oh my god, like how do I capture what I'm feeling on my phone. Like, document everything, because even now, like at 25, I look back at things from when I was like younger and I'm like, wow, I'm so happy that I kept these pictures. And with one of my friends, we were going through our like kindergarten pictures and we were like, wow, like we're so happy. Or it's like, I remember this time, you know, and we wouldn't have even like had these memories if it wasn't for these pictures. So truly document everything. Be the obnoxious person who takes your phone out to take pictures. Don't live through your screen, but document everything, because it's something that you're not going to regret. Number 12, life feels lighter when you believe that everything's going to work out in the end. I'm not saying be absolutely delusional, but if you're stressed, be like, you know, everything is going to work out. If you're anxious, tell yourself everything is going to work out. Because I learned this one quote and it's completely changed my life. If you can control something, okay, perfect, problem solved. You can control it and it will work out in the end. But then on the other hand, if you can't control something, okay, perfect, you can control it. There's nothing you can do. Why are you going to stress about it? Why are you going to be anxious about it? It's all going to work out in the end. Even though it doesn't work out in the way that you like would have hoped for, who knows what other better thing is out there for you, and this thing didn't have to work out, so this other huge thing works out. And just going along life with this mentality that everything is going to work out for you makes you so much less stress. And once again, not to the point where you're delusional, you don't put in any work. Like, obviously put in work, be like honest with yourself, have faith in yourself, but anytime that you're stressed or you're anxious and something is out of your control, it's going to be like, it's going to work out. Whether it's in the way that I envision it or not, it's going to work out in the end. It's all working for me. It's all in my benefit, and just let it happen. I know this is like probably the hardest thing to grasp, and it took me a while to be like fully comfortable in it, and not in a place where I'm delusional, but in a place where I fully trust that it's going to work out in the end for me. It took a while to get there, but I feel like it has made me so much happier, so much stress free, and so much just like you know, like no tension in my bones. I can breathe, and it makes me enjoy every day a little bit more. At number 13, the last one in this category, is that romanticizing your life actually works. Do the cute little morning routine, wear your cute little outfit, have your cute little drink, go on your like little hot girl walk. Romanticizing your life actually works because it puts you in this mindset where you're just like happy and you're ready, like you're motivated, you want to do things because you're like, I feel good, I look good, I just want to do things, I want to accomplish things, I want to do this, I want to do that. There's nothing more motivating than the little like burst of energy you get when you romanticize your life and you're like, everything is great. Not in the delusional sense, but once again, going back to what I said before, in the sense that you're like, everything is going to work out. So why stress? My life is beautiful. I love my life. I'm happy. I love myself. Life is great, and life truly will be great. Moving on to career and purpose. So number 14 is that confidence comes from things that scare you. I feel like we've all heard this online, but to build confidence, you have to do things that scare you. There is no growth in your comfort zone, and that is a terrifying thing. That is a terrifying thing, but really think of it this way. Are you, and this I remember I had a conversation with my friend about it literally like last week. Are you more scared of staying where you are now, or are you more scared of putting in the work, doing this extra thing, doing this thing that terrifies you to have a better life, to have a better outcome? And most times doing that thing is less scary than staying where you are. In that sense, to do the thing that scares you, you're going to become more confident in whatever it is, and it's going to give you skills, it's going to give you whatever you need to become this like future version of yourself that you want to become. Like, if you're scared to talk to that person, do it, because even if it doesn't work out, you are going to become more confident to do it in the future. If you're nervous or scared to go for this job, like to apply or for an interview, do it, because it's going to give you skills to get an even better job in the future, or it's going to actually get you the job because you're like, yes, I was scared, but I applied anyway, I did this thing anyway. In any case, doing this scary thing will give you more confidence to do other scary things in the future, because even if it doesn't work out, you will be like, okay, you know what? I did that. It might have not worked out, but I did that. I can't believe I did that. And the confidence boost is insane. Trust me. Speaking from experience, so many things I did that terrified me. It just took me 5 seconds of being like, okay, let's go. I kind of like turned my brain off. I was like, I am terrified. I am like shaking. I'm so scared. But I just turned my brain off and I just went for it. And I've never regretted it. I've never regretted it because I've grown. I've had confidence to do other things. And honestly, for lack of a better word, it did change my life. Number 15, and this is something that I struggle with so much. Ask questions instead of pretending that you know the answers. I'm someone who, I don't like hurting my little ego. I feel like I have so much pride where it's like, I don't admit when I don't know something, when I need help, I've seen how it has hurt me before, that I've really tried to challenge myself to become more comfortable, ask for help, being like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, or hey, I don't know, I've never learned this, or I'm not sure, can you please help me? That is the hardest thing I've had to do this year, but it's also the thing that kind of like, once again, gave me the most confidence, because I was like, you know what? I learned so much from these people that I admitted, like, I don't know what I'm doing to. Like, I need help. I don't know what's going on. I do not understand. I just don't know. I learned from that. Instead of being like in my own bubble, being stressed, trying to figure it out by myself, putting pressure on myself, and just like being mad at myself because I'm like, how does everyone else understand? How does everyone else know how to do this? Why does everyone know how to act in this situation and I don't? I just asked, and it relieved so much stress, got rid of so much anxiety, because I was like, yeah, sure, it's scary to ask, it might make you feel uncomfortable, but do the thing that scares you, because it's gonna boost your confidence, it's gonna make you like feel better, it's gonna make you improve. So you see, all these little things are connected, but truly don't be scared to ask, because even if you think it might be a dumb question, who knows what dumb question the person who you're asking to asked who knows what dumb question the person who you think you're asking a dumb question to has asked in their past to get to where they are. I don't know if that makes sense, but everyone has asked their fair share of dumb questions. Everyone thought that maybe they look dumb for asking these questions, but like, no, you know, the people who you see as like higher up, who you're like, I'm so scared of asking them because I don't know how they're gonna like see me, they've asked dumb questions themselves, and I'm sure if you ask them, they would not be where they are today if they hadn't asked that dumb question. Number 16, there's no such thing as a timeline, and everyone knows this, but I feel like truly coming to terms with it, like, it's hard. Trust me, it's hard, especially you're not supposed to be comparing yourself to others, which again goes back to something that I said before, but when you start comparing yourself to others, you're like, okay, my timeline is so much different than theirs, like their life is so easy, but it's also like, you don't know what this other person is going through, that like, yeah, sure, they might have achieved this one thing before you, but you achieved so much more in some other category. It's like, yeah, they achieved this, but how much did it take out of them? How much did they suffer? And you don't know that because you're comparing like their highlights to your lowest point. Forget about like hitting these certain milestones by a certain age, and I feel like in your 20s it's so hard when obviously we see other generations, and other generations are comparing themselves to us, and it's like, you see, okay, people who are maybe like 5 years older than you, and you're like, okay, they have all this, so I should want this. Or it's like, okay, well, they achieved this at this age, so I should have had that too. And even with your friends, everyone's timeline is different, and it gets so overwhelming when it's like, where should I be? And I think I do want to bring out a video about this, because this is something that I have been struggling with, and that I've had to like pull myself out of, like, actively. This is a little like thing going on in my brain like every single week, and I have started therapy, so this is definitely something that I am going to be talking about in therapy. But forget the whole idea of a timeline. You do not know what someone else went through. You cannot compare your timeline to someone else's, because let's say you get what you want, like right now, you might not have the skills, you might not have the qualities, you may not have the knowledge to keep this thing in your life. And would you rather have it now and then like lose it because you're not able to keep it, or would you rather wait, build what you need to keep it, and then get it later on in life? I'm sure all of you guys would have gone with option B. So forget about this whole idea that everyone's timeline is the same. It's not. You are on the best path for you, and just trust that. Number 17, discipline is more important than motivation. I know these like toxic like productivity spaces online, it's like, oh my god, like discipline is like everything, but like, you know, discipline kind of is. It's like, yeah, you can be super motivated, but if you do not have the discipline to actually follow through, you're not going to achieve your goals, or it's going to be so much harder. The best way to build discipline is to just go for it, right? Because motivation, yeah, it's great. Motivation isn't the hard work, it's in the discipline. Like, you say, okay, you know, I want to lose weight, if that's one of your goals, because I feel like a lot of people, like, that is one of their goals. And yeah, you can be super motivated. You can be like, okay, I want to look like them, I want to look like this by the summer, like blah 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 blah, and that's great. But if you don't go to the gym, if you don't actually eat healthy, if you don't have the discipline to do this every single day, or on a certain, like, I guess, time path, I don't know if that made sense, you're not gonna get anywhere, because motivation only takes you so far. So the biggest thing that I've learned in my early 20s is like building the discipline, because as I mentioned before, every small habit makes a massive change in your life, and if you have the discipline to keep these little things going every single day, you will get that big change. If you don't have the discipline, then you're not gonna get that big positive change that you want. But truly, like, slowly, it's something that's super easy to learn. You just have to get into the habit of it, and like every single day be like, you know what, I don't feel like it, I don't want to do it, 5 minutes. And then something that took you so much, like, I guess not stress, but just like so much effort to do one day, in a month you're gonna be like, it's mindless. It's like brushing my teeth. I just do it because it's part of my habit. It's discipline. The last one for this category, I basically could have like put this in other categories, but I feel like I wanted to put it here because for me, this is where it affected me the most in my like career and purpose. And number 18 is that rejection is just redirection. Once again, this can be like in like dating and like whatever, but I really noticed that in my school. So I was so set on this like particular path to follow when I was, I think like 16, and then I didn't get into my ideal university, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like do this plan to get over here. It didn't work out, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this plan, and it didn't work out, and I was crying. I was like, this is the end of the world, like my life is over. Basically, I'm a little bit dramatic, but I was like, my life is like actually over. I didn't even realize that the whole reason that I got rejected so many times was because that is not what I truly wanted. That was what I thought that I wanted, but I didn't even have the knowledge, I didn't even have the capacity to see this whole other thing that is completely different. And once I was able to see that, I was like, thank God that I got rejected, because knowing what I know now, I would have been miserable. I would have hated my life. And thank God that every time I tried to push, I tried to get closer, something was pushing me further back, because that was never meant for me. I know this is something that's like super hard to grasp, but whenever someone gets like a little sad or just they're like overwhelmed because they got rejected, I tell them that story. I feel like other people seeing how much I love, I'm sorry, I'm getting like emotional. I'm supposed to be starting my period soon, so I'm getting a little bit emotional. But no, like every time that I tell someone this story and they can like see how passionate I am about this thing that my rejection led me to now, I feel like I truly put that like belief in their head, or I truly give them proof to be like, you know what, I actually believe in this is true, that this is one thing that I'm so passionate about, because I'm so thankful that I got rejected, whether it be dating or like career and stuff like that, because I would have been miserable if I ended up in anything that I wanted in my past. And I only know that now. At the moment, yes, it was the end of the world, like my life was ending, but I'm so grateful I got rejected, because the path that I am at right now, I'm truly happy, and I know this is what I actually want. Okay, so we're finally on the last category, which is dating and relationships. So the first one in this category, number 19, it's more like friendships than, because over here it's like relationships, but it's like friendships or like romantic relationships, so it kind of like works for both. This one is very like friendship focused. And number 19 is let your friendships shift. It is so hard when you see someone who you are super close with so like slowly drift away, whether you guys just outgrow each other or it's this external circumstance. It is so hard, but just let it happen. Like, yes, you have to put in effort to keep these friendships, but I feel like also know when it's like, I'm giving too much and I'm done, I cannot do it anymore, I don't see this reciprocated, I just cannot keep putting energy in here. And it's something sad that when you see something slipping away, it's like you want to grab on like so much harder because you're like, I don't want to lose this, but let them slip away. And I've had these friendships where I've let it slip away, and then sometimes we don't talk anymore, and that is fine. Like, yeah, it's sad, I think about them, or I see them post something and it's like, like I truly hope that you're doing well. It is sad because I'm like, I had so much fun with you, we had like such great memories together, and it's sad that you're not here. But then other friendships, the person comes back and you never know who's going to come back and who's not. Like, I'm actually going through something where I'm kind of like fixing a friendship with a friend. As of now, like, I don't know how things are going to go. We're planning to meet up in a few days, but I'm so grateful that she reached out, because I feel like I'm going to get emotional again. It's like she was such a close friend, and I was truly so sad that I lost her, but I was like, I'm done trying. Like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I'm hurting myself. Oh my God, I'm like actually tearing up. I'm like hurting myself doing this. And my voice is cracking. Oh my God. I'm hurting myself doing this. I cannot do it anymore. And I was so devastated. But we drifted apart. I lived my life. She lived her life. When she reached out to me, I was truly so happy, because I was like, I can feel this friendship coming back together. And sometimes you have to take that distance in your friendships for both people to realize, no, like, this is a friendship that I actually really want, and you're worth putting in effort. It's not always going to happen, but it will happen. And you just like have to know when to stop giving. It's hard trust me, I know, because I lived through it this year, and this is something that I am going to be talking about in my like, or because I don't know which video comes out first, because I am pre-filming this. It's something that I will be talking about more in my 2025 wraps, like dealing with this whole thing. But you just have to know when to let go, and you have to be okay that it can come back and it cannot, and regardless of what happens, you're gonna be okay. Number 20, attraction is easy, compatibility is hard. And I feel like I learned this the hard way this year. I was gonna say the wrong way, no, the hard way this year, because someone can be perfect on paper, because you can be really attracted to someone and it can seem that on paper like everything is fine, but there's these like little compatibility things, and it's like, yeah, you might ignore it at first, but then they're gonna be in the back of your head. You're just gonna be like constantly thinking about it, and it's like, it's just not gonna click. It's not because they're a bad person, it's not because of like, I don't know, something bad that you're not attracted to them. You're just not compatible. And it's hard when you're like, you're such a good person, I'm attracted to you, I love spending time with you, you're perfect on paper, but we don't have that compatibility. And it's so hard when you realize that. But just know that compatibility is extremely important. That's what makes relationships last. Like, that's something that I learned. If you see that you're not compatible, don't try to stick it out to, like, I'm not saying to like kick the bucket like right away and be like, I'm done with this. Try to see, okay, can we compromise? But if you see that like you cannot compromise, like you guys are truly incompatible, just end it there, because you're gonna save yourself so much pain, so much heartbreak, so much crying, so many tears. Trust me, so many tears. If you're just like, you know what, realistically, we're not compatible, and that's okay. It sucks, but that's okay. Number 21, consistency is the real love language. I have seen repeatedly so many times these amazing guys that my friends date, they're great, but it's like when it comes to consistency, it's not there. And I'm so incredibly grateful that the person who I dated this year, he was extremely consistent, because I really learned in that case that like no matter what, I don't want to say that I was hard to deal with, but I was very like trying to understand myself and stuff like that, because it was like my first like real relationship, I guess. So it was really like understanding things, and he was so patient, he was consistent and there, just like always so present, and just the consistency and what he said, his actions and everything. I'm so grateful that I met you at this point in my life, because consistency is a real love language. Consistency is what makes relationships last. Like, obviously you do need compatibility, as I mentioned before, but consistency is so important. And having seen the difference between relationships that my friends were in at like some point and comparing it to like the guy who I was seeing this year, it's like I really noticed how important consistency is, and it just makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel safe, it makes you feel like you can open up, it just makes you feel like you don't have to think about anything, because you're like, the consistency is there. I feel like I'm at a loss for words, because it's like getting me a little bit emotional. Consistency is how you know that someone actually likes you. If they're not consistent, you're not a priority, they don't actually care about you, just let it go right now. I know it's not what you want to hear, but consistency is a real love language. Obviously things happen and people can't be there like all the time, but if there is a pattern of consistency, stay there. If there's a pattern of inconsistency, reevaluate, because you are worth someone who is going to be consistent with you. Number 22, you cannot make someone communicate at your level. And it's hard. You know, I feel like this we see in like all aspects of life, but someone can only communicate up to their knowledge of communication, or up to their own capacities. Like the same way you cannot have a very philosophical discussion with a 5-year-old, you cannot communicate necessarily to your capabilities with anyone else. You just have to know when it's a losing battle, and to be like, you know, I'm gonna remove myself from this situation because I'm exhausting myself. Like, this is a losing battle, I cannot do this. Whether it comes to like family, friendships, like romantic relationships, just know that not everyone is able to communicate to your capabilities, and just know when you have to be like, you know what, it's okay, we cannot have this conversation, I'm gonna remove myself to not stress myself out, to not tire myself out. You're just not someone I can have this conversation with, and that's okay. That's okay. Number 23, let me hold your hand when I say this. I'm sorry means nothing. I'm sorry means nothing. You have to have actions to back it up. You have to have like something to be like, okay, you know, I am sorry, but I'll be doing this. This is like proof that I'm like actually sorry, basically, because you are changing a behavior, you are changing something. If you don't change, I don't care if you're sorry or not, you're not actually sorry sorry because you're not changing. I feel like this, people are like starting to understand more, and I don't know if it's because we're just like seeing things more online that are getting us to understand this, or we're just like getting older and we like see that. But I'm sorry means nothing if the behavior doesn't change. Please do not forget that. Number 24, being alone is better than being with the wrong person. It's hard, you know, it's hard when you have to make that decision. But I was watching, like, I want to tell you guys about this because this really like made me feel like just like reassured in my decision, not because I doubted myself before, but it was just like, okay, I'm not the only one who's like going through this. I was watching a video by Tara Michelle and she was talking about her breakup. She was on this like FaceTime call with her mom, and her mom was like, you were unhappy these past 2 years. And she was like, I wasn't always unhappy. And then later on in the video, she was like, I was so scared of leaving because I was so close to getting what I wanted, you know, getting married, like we had a house and stuff like that, because I think she's like 29 or like 30, and she was like, I was so close, so I was so scared leaving. But I was also so scared when I thought of myself in this position, and that scared me more than leaving. Those two things combined, it's like it wasn't a safe space for her to be with that person, the same way that it's not like it was not a safe space if I was with the person who I was dating, or if you were with that person who you were dating, that you were like, I feel like it's better if I'm alone. And I know it's such a scary thing because you're like, you know, I have what I want and I've wanted this for so long and I'm almost there. And especially like getting older, it's like, it's so close. But is it a safe space? Is it truly a happy space? Because I'm not saying like you were never happy, but it's like, were you more unhappy than you were happy? Were you more stressed than you were stressed? Or like, were you stressed enough times to be like, you know, I was actually stressed a lot? And it's like really hearing her say those things in her video and hearing her mom talk, that really like made me start to think about my own experiences, and that really made me put this on the list, because being alone is so much better than being with the wrong person. And obviously I miss the person who I was seeing, but I don't have any regrets because I'm like, I would not have been happy. I would not have been happy, and I'm so much better where I am now, even though I miss him. It's okay, and I don't regret ending things. I don't even wish to still be seeing him because I know that even if I might have been happy short term, it would not have worked out long term, and that's okay, and I'm happy. And then finally, number 25, which is the most like, oh my god thing, who you change, no, oh my god, who you date will change your life. And I've seen this in me. I've seen this with friends. When you start dating someone new, you adopt their habits, you adopt other things about them. Not that you guys kind of like mesh to become one person, but you take a lot from this other person. That if this is like objectively a good person that has good qualities, that has goals, has ambition, wants to do things with their life, you're gonna get a bit of that. But if you date someone who isn't really like that, you're gonna get a bit of that also. So be very careful with who you date, because it will change your life, whether for better or for worse. It will change your life. It will give you qualities that maybe you want or maybe that you don't want, or it'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna live here, I'm gonna live here, I'm gonna take this job instead of that job. I feel like I didn't realize how much it would change your life until this year, where I was like, wow, so many things that I was like, I want to do this for me, but then I was like, okay, wait, but what about this? And I was like, whoa, stop right now, this is not okay. I'm so happy that I learned this from now, which is I feel like a relatively like young age, because I was like, wow, I was about to make decisions based on something that I didn't even know if it was gonna last. And I'm like, wow. So yes, remember that who you date is gonna change your life. So just pick wisely and be careful. And that's it. Those are 25 things that I learned before turning 25. I feel like, dude, my throat is so dry. I've been filming for like almost an hour. I need water. Like my matcha did very little to like keep my throat dry. Like, no, my bad, not dry. And if there's like any big life lessons that you learned before like any age, just like any big life lessons thing, don't hesitate to leave it in the comment section down below so we can share it with everyone, and hopefully everyone can like get a bit of these like words of wisdom to better their life. I really need water, so I'm gonna go. My TikTok, Instagram, and Goodreads are all links down below if you want to go stalk me over there. And stay safe, protect your vibe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.